just about to connect my today's guest, which is Arushi from Lavish Globals. You can also ask question because she is from fashion industry itself, so she will be answering all the questions.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm very excited.
Oh, really glad to see you again.
Yeah, even you, I have seen your work and everything. These are really beautiful designs you keep on sharing. Some of the pieces I personally like it, but I could not able to reply sometime because of the business and everything. But it's really beautiful. So you guys are also doing amazing. So
Pick
first of
me
all,
any.
congratulations for your success.
I'll send it to you, whichever design you like. Just ping me anytime.
Yeah, definitely, sure. So Arushi, first of all, she's a founder at Lavish Global. We would like to know about like where are you from, and also about like a little bit about qualifications.
So as you know, I'm into fashion entrepreneurship. But
Yeah.
I'm also a merchant exporter. I'm based out in New
Mm-hmm.
Delhi, and I'm
Okay.
a graduate economics and a postgraduate in international business. And now we are into
Mm-hmm.
B2B exports. So it's about like 95% of our business is international. Globally, we are supplying handicrafts, all made in India products abroad to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
clients, buyers abroad in US, Europe, and other
Okay.
countries as well.
Great. So I think there is a need in the international market of the Indian designs. Like what you have seen, like if you can tell us the ratio and the demand outside.
So, if I talk about demand and ratio, I feel, and what I have seen is that there are a lot of demand of handicrafts and made in India products abroad as compared to in India. Apart from that, a lot of people buy fashion accessories, handicrafts like home decor items, and very
Right.
different kind of clothing they buy abroad, which people don't usually buy in India. There's a really good demand abroad,
Right. I think
especially.
we are opposite buying things like we go for international, like more towards, and they come for like Indian things. So that is quite opposite, right?
Yeah, it is. It's actually quite interesting as well as a bit shocking that more demand is in other countries than in India. I'm also seeing that a lot of people in India are willing to buy handmade products, willing to buy products that are made in India. The demand is growing in India as well. They are looking forward to India's handicrafts a lot.
So I'm just taking one question. This is from Rohit Bansal. What are the strategy to go internationally?
So, strategies, first, you have to check on with your products that what products that
Mm-hmm.
you are willing or what products you want to sell abroad. On the basis of products, you have to, research your market first and
Right.
then make up, then plan a complete strategy on, how you can, do business abroad or how you can market. You will have
Mm-hmm.
to find buyers, you will have to meet them, make various samples to show them. So there are a lot of techniques and strategies, but what I believe is that your product matters. So you have to see which
Right.
product you have to sell abroad or in India.
Right. Okay. What about like the networks you can create? What is the source of your network? How do you create an international market?
So the network, how I create my international market is, as you know that we are a B2B firm, and
Hmm.
we are a totally made to order kind of a firm. We
Hmm.
develop things which we get from designers abroad or which we get from the importers that buy India's products and sell in their retail stores or sell online. So
Hmm.
we work on their designs, we develop those designs, and that's how we grow our network. That's how we maintain our supply chain.
Okay. Talking about the designs, basically, we have seen, even the celebrities and people keep on changing designs and everything. They will not repeat. So, like, what are the, like you follow strategy in your, like in marketing? What are the things? Do you also repeat designs or, sometimes we follow the like the earlier pattern it was follow like the plazos we wear and everything it was earlier as well. So
Yeah.
what are the fashion statement you guys are like seeing in the market as of now?
So right now, what I am saying, yeah, actually, you're absolutely right. In fact, not even celebrities, even
Hmm.
normal working people are same thing, just buying one time, wearing it one time, and like that.
Yeah.
So believe that a lot of demand is coming towards jewelry, of
Hmm.
demand of artificial jewelry. I think every other girl, every other, I think in fact even guys are these days, they are getting into jewelry slowly, even
Hmm.
them wearing small stuff which completes their look. So
Hmm.
it's I feel that there are a lot of demand is coming towards jewelry. And if I talk about clothing, then yeah, we follow both old fashion as well as new fashion that's coming up.
Hmm.
The new fashion that's in trend these days. So it's like a mix of modern and ethnic, where we can say. So I feel that
Hmm.
demand such things like fashion accessories can never go down on can never be it keeps growing over the years, and fashion
Right.
changes, but people love wearing what they used to wear, or what they used to see few years back. They want to wear the same kind of thing in a different way.
All right, I'm just taking the next question. This is from okay, some weird name. Lesson learned from mistakes made a company strong. So, what was the biggest mistake you made, and what is the lesson did you that it teach you?
So biggest mistake, I would say, I won't, I don't think I would say it as a biggest mistake, because we are still growing. We are
Hmm.
yet
Hmm.
to accomplish great success, I would say. But I would say that little mistakes we do, like every day, some or the other, small things, whether a little bigger things. So it's good that if we learn from our mistakes and we move forward. And definitely
Hmm.
mistakes teach us a lot. It brings us ourselves, we develop ourselves, we develop our company, we develop our employees, we develop a lot of things, and that's how we grow. And it's
Right.
it's all about learning from your mistakes.
Okay, talking about the investment part you put in Lavish, because obviously you come from a business family. So, like, what are the things you go for the bootstrap, or what is the advice you will give to the people? Because you already have a good experience towards this. So, like, what are the things you want to mention about the investment in any company?
See, as you know that we were not given any uh, we didn't have any angel investors, or any other investment for our company initially. So I invested
Right.
savings. We started from nearly around 30-40 thousand, and that's how we grew. In fact, presently I do have some investment proposals from some people and from couple of companies, which I will be considering it maybe next year. So
Hmm.
now we are putting our own profits that we are getting, and amidst the pandemic, the things are moving really slowly. So
Hmm.
right, it's like for couple of months we were at the break even, but now we are now again growing and slowly developing. So yeah,
Hmm.
now we are just putting our own profits here, and let's see how it goes next year.
Yeah, definitely. It would be definitely good because COVID has affected a lot of people, especially the fashion industry. Because if they are not going out, what they will wear and what are the things they can use, right? Okay, so talking about the team you guys are currently having, like how much is the team size currently?
So right now I have if I talk about full time, I have about 5 people, and if I talk about part time, I have about women artisans. I have around uh, 30 to 35 women artisans in village outskirts that work on a daily wage, as per the work we give, as per the work we have. So they
Hmm.
work daily wages. There are around 30 to 35 women artisans. They make handicrafts, they make handmade stuff, which we
Hmm.
sell.
Okay, great, great. I think that this is a very great source of employment also you're creating, right? Because most of the women do not able to participate because they are not that qualified and something, because and this is the thing they can do it.
And the situation we have in the villages, it's really bit sad to see, like women don't work, women don't go out and work. and
Right.
so it's like good opportunity for them. They sit at home and they make handmade stuff. It's their art, and they're utilizing their talent and art as well, and earning daily wages as well, which are which is like absolutely it's benefiting them.
Okay, here a person has asked, what is your vision and mission initially? Also, like in future, what you have decided for Lavish, like where you have to go.
So my mission and my vision is nearly same. That I want to create a premium and a world class handicrafts made in India products and sell them and promote them globally. So that's my vision and mission for now. I would
Mhm.
like to take this made in India products globally in India as well as abroad, so that we can get in touch with a lot of people, can get in promote India's handicrafts to a lot of, because we are making and we are supplying handicrafts of almost all the states. So it's a
Hmm.
good opportunity, and it's a way for me that we can promote India's products and we can touch many people.
Okay, so talking about next, so here is a question from Saurav Raman. Which companies do you see as your competitor, and what is the X factor in the company?
I would not say, competitors for now, because we are a startup company. It's been just
Hmm.
3.5. Yeah, but definitely there are many fashion companies here. There are many fashion exporters here. So of
Hmm.
course competition is there, but we are still growing. So I think to talk about competition, it's quite early for me.
Right. Somebody is asking about future plan of expansion. Like what would wait?
Yeah, so next year we are coming up with our B2C model, as you might have read. So next year I will be launching my e-commerce site, my online platform, where people in India can directly buy online our products, our handmade
Hmm.
products. It's for the retail customers and not for the bulk buyers, or not B2B. It's totally B2C. And if I talk about a long-term expansion, then maybe let's see after, in span of say 4 to 5 years, maybe you guys can see our first premium flagship store.
I think the presence you need in international market, sitting here, that quite a bit difficult for you because you could not able to actually, you can do virtually things, but so how difficulties you face, because obviously in terms of marketing, in terms of sale, like how do you manage these things?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We do face difficulties because we are sitting here, and our buyers, or potential buyers, they are all abroad. There are a lot of difficulties like cultural differences, language differences, choices of designs, quality of our designs, quality of our products. So
Right.
those are the most difficulties that we face. We can do virtually, but what we do is before making things, we send a sample, so that we have a clarity on our products.
Here, one of the question I'm taking: how does the Western culture of fashion have impact on fashion or lifestyle business?
Well, right now, if you compare since like years, so now the impact has now there's a really less impact nowadays, because
Hmm.
people are coming together, and they are getting to know other cultures, other different kind of fashion, and they're adopting
Right.
it as well. So I
Hmm.
would say that it's not so much gap between them. Definitely,
Hmm.
people love to try new things, try out new fashion. Even we love it, and even people abroad love it. So I think now
Hmm.
everything is open. I think the gap is just a bit now. I don't think there's a really large gap between.
Do you have any idol in fashion industry? Basically, like, do you really follow him, like, or her?
I do like a lot of people. I do like couple of fashion bloggers.
Hmm.
And I do like couple of celebrities. I would not like the names, but yeah, I do have idols, and in fact, I get a lot of advices and suggestions from my own friends and family for fashion,
Hmm.
which they are quite it's quite helpful because that's how we manage our things, it's how we develop. We get advices of about fashion because only one person cannot know everything about fashion. Like we keep in mind about sustainability, recycling old clothes to make something new out of it.
Okay, so how do you do the quality control process in Lavish?
Yeah, everything is quality controlled. Basically, we use very good and very high quality raw materials. We are making handmade jewelry or beaded jewelry. Our quality of raw materials are very exclusive, which is like anti-allergic. It's quite, it's since it's export quality, everything is tested and it's tested abroad. Our buyers, our clients get them tested. So anybody till now it's been like 3 to 4 years and I have never heard any such quality issues in our products.
Okay, one person is asking, have you thought of getting your business on AI platform?
Artificial intelligence, right now I haven't really thought about it, but yeah, thank you, I'll definitely think about it.
Yeah, because people are very aware about the lens cut and everything. They can try things because of the AI thing. So I think that's why he or she is asking.
Next year when we will be entering B2C market, then definitely I'll be going through all of these things because in right now our market, most of our market is B2B, but when we enter B2C completely and we open this new line of business, definitely we're gonna enter, we're gonna check.
Okay, there is a question. Any major setback you have faced in your journey and how do you overcome it?
Yeah, a major setback that I faced was I feel that it was in the initial years. I launched my company in April 2017, and it worked for like I started selling on Amazon and other e-commerce platforms. So it worked for like 1 or 2 months, and then after that, for like 6 to 7 or 8 months, I didn't have any business. There was no sale at all. So that was a major drop, and I was jobless also because I resigned from my company. So I was a bit, very confused as to what will happen now because nothing is working. So yeah, but then after months, I started with the B2B. I totally changed my line from selling on Amazon or selling to the customers. I changed it to B2B, and then slowly and slowly it started working. So yeah, that was a major setback in initial phase.
I think that's how you can grow or you can learn things by doing mistakes, as we discussed, right? Arushi, how do you see your journey with Lavish, like since 3 years into entrepreneurship, and you have seen business like in very close terms. So, like, how do you see entrepreneurship for you, and like why people should go for entrepreneurship, and what is the basically need of it in the market?
So I feel that entrepreneurship is, developing and organizing new businesses, developing, in fact, not new businesses. I feel that it's like developing yourself, knowing yourself that you can do something different. I mean, everyone wants money. That's why we are into business, but it's not always about money. I would say some people, especially people like me, we also work for a specific standard of living. Like, I don't want to work like a 9 to 5 job, or I don't want to work under someone. So it's for that as well. So I feel that everyone has a different meaning for entrepreneurship. It's very necessary to develop and develop and actually work on your idea, create something new out of it. There are a lot of companies, new companies that are non-profit, and they are entirely working on an idea to create a change. So it's a very good thing, and I feel that a person should. I think everyone can, maybe they should develop themselves and develop that what passion they have or what they want to create, or if they have any new idea, they should definitely work on. So that's what entrepreneurship is all about. It's about everything. It's about yourself. It's about idea. It's about money as well. It's about developing a life that you want.
I think it was a wonderful conversation connecting you. I think most of the people have got their answers, what they have asked. I cannot take all the questions because it will take a lot of time. So thank you so much, Arushi, for joining us. And I can really see a good potential in your company. That is, you guys are really, really hardworking. And the designs I have seen, that is quite beautiful. So all the very best from the team Karo Startup. And I hope we can do some other session someday again. So thanks a lot for connecting.
Definitely. Thank you. See you. Take care.
Okay, take care, audience, and please stay at home. Bye bye.